breaking news tonight from the Lakers. A late night trade that is just stunning the NBA.
Very interesting night in the NBA.
Have you ever been more shocked?
This is the most shocking trade in NBA history.
Dallas didn't want to move forward with one of the greatest young players that we've seen today.
Luka Doncic went from shock to realizing the opportunity.
Nobody knew about the trade. Nobody expected.
He's supposed to have a statue!
Multiple fans were ejected.
Look at the history of the Lakers. Wilt, Kareem, and now Luka Doncic. Maybe there's another move in the making.
They must know something we don't know.
Luka Doncic was half asleep when his phone rang.
I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first. And it was a bit shock. It was hard moments for me. It was home.
But no, it was real. And just like that, the NBA lost its damn mind.
Why?
This wasn't just any trade. This was a trade so insane, so unbelievable, that even NBA 2K would have rejected it. Dallas fans weren't just mad, they were mourning. One heartbroken fan nearly passed out on live TV.
I've been a Mavs fan my whole entire life since I've been a baby. This is the worst moment in the history of my life. This is ridiculous. This is crazy, man. We went to the NBA Finals. Why are we trading the best player, the franchise player? How are we trading the franchise player? We went to the NBA Finals. He's supposed to have a statue. Hell yeah. He's supposed to have a statue. Dirk got a statue right there. It's supposed to be Luca right there.
I mean, when you put it like that, he's got a point. Even Mark Cuban, the man who once said he'd pick Luca over his own wife, was blindsided.
Mark Cuban, it's famous back in 2020 when he said if given the choice between his wife and Luca, you would catch Cuban at his divorce lawyer's office. I gotta wonder what Cuban thinks of all of this. Obviously, he's not the majority owner anymore. He's still in the mix, though. You think he's thrilled about this?
I texted him and I said, I'm so confused, and he wrote back, that makes two of us. So that kind of tells you right there.
So what the hell happened? How did one of the dumbest, most shocking trades in NBA history actually go down? And more importantly, what do NBA legends and players think about this madness? Starting off is Kendrick Perkins, who didn't even hesitate. This was the most shocking trade ever. But somehow, he thinks both teams won.
This is the most shocking trade in NBA history. But guess what? Both sides won. Dallas won in the aspect of they showing the world that, hey, we believe in Kyrie Irving. And if we pair Anthony Davis with the pieces that we have in this system, and P.J. Washington, Spencer Dinwiddie, the guys that we have, we're seeing that Oklahoma City Thunder is the only team that looks really stable and a legit threat in the Western Conference. We can make some noise. And then on the Lakers standpoint, they're looking at it and saying, hey, should we leverage our future and try to keep LeBron James and Anthony Davis together? What is a piece that we could go get to move the needle? It's not one. So how about going get an international superstar in Luka Doncic that we could build, and a guy that could come in and represent one of the most historic franchises in the history of sports, the Lakers, in great fashion?
But let's be real. If this was such a win-win, why does every Mavs fan look like they just lost a family member? Speaking of shock,
it's still a shock to his system. it ain't when my phone started going crazy last night, I actually thought somebody like this.
You thought it was DoorDash. You thought it was DoorDash?
No. Well played. No, you know what? I thought it. You know how these fake things come out when somebody died. These internet idiots. Well, they said somebody died and they did die. Like, this can't be true. Because I was actually watching the Lakers Knicks, and I get this thing on my phone. I'm like, well, this is somebody playing a joke. Then I go to ESPN, they got college basketball on, and nothing's happened. Then I go to ESPN2, see my girl Shea Cornett, and I'm like, They're not even talking about it. And I'm flicking back and forth. I had 10 people texting me like, dude, I don't know anything. I'm just sitting here watching just like everybody else. Then I go back to Shay Cornett and she said, we have breaking news. And I'm like, damn, it was a shock. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been in here for 40 years, Greg. I've never been more shocked because there was no grumblings. I mean, everybody's been talking about Jimmy Butler and De'Aaron Fox for the last few days. And then you get 2 all-NBA players. That's the thing. Like, I was a great player and it was all over the internet. So I'm so old, I didn't have internet. It was all over the newspapers for 2 years. Nobody ever thought that Anthony Davis and especially Luka Doncic, especially the way AD's been playing, he's been all NBA. And Luka, he's been the face of that franchise from day one. Man, I don't think I've ever been more shocked.
You know a trade is wild when even Charles Barkley thought it was one of those internet death hoaxes. And if you thought fans and legends were shook, actual players were just as rattled. When reporters asked Anthony Edwards about the Luka trade, he couldn't believe it.
What did you think of the Luka trade and your thoughts on just the business of the NBA?
They say that nobody knew about the trade. Yeah, so that's crazy. At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded. Because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man, because I saw some on YouTube that said he just bought a crib and everything in Dallas. So that sucks, man. That sucks.
Does it inform you at 23?
Everybody get informed. Yeah.
I was gonna say
I'm scared.
How you see the league?
Yeah, I'm scared. Tim, hey, if you're gonna trade me, let me know, dog. When Luka got traded, anybody is able to get traded at that point.
This wasn't just a shock for Luka. This trade made every young player in the league rethink their life. Nobody is safe, not even the face of a franchise. And we're just getting started. More NBA legends and players have been reacting like they just saw a UFO land on the court. Jokic isn't an emotional guy. He usually keeps things cool, calm, and very Serbian. But even he had to acknowledge that this was next level insanity.
I texted him. He felt it. I mean, of course, I think he didn't expect it, of course. I think he just needs to be with his family right now. It's a big move. It's a business. I don't know. I think nobody expected, especially not him. I think nobody's safe in the league. It seems like, but I think he's going to do a good job. I think he's the player for the big scene. Even though I thought in Dallas he had something special going.
And then came Paul Pierce, who also thought this was fake news.
What was your reaction when you heard the news, Paul?
I mean, initially I was in shock and I didn't believe the news. Like I was telling y'all earlier, I was finishing up dinner, and the guy came out with my phone. What do you think about the Luka news going to the Lakers? And I'm just looking like, man. If you don't let me feel, get away from me, man. What is you? I'm thinking this is a fan want an autograph or something. And then I look, my phone pop up, Luka to the Lakers. I'm like, that's fake news. So it took me a minute for it to register because I was like, I've never seen a player in their prime in the MVP talks every single year get traded.
Coming off of a finals
appearance at 25 years old. That's just something that's never happened in NBA history unless I just don't know the history, and I'm pretty sure I know the history, but this is just never happened. So when it sunk in, I was shocked. And I was just like, why would the Lakers or Dallas do this? Why would Dallas do this than anything?
Because right now, it still doesn't make sense. And if Pierce was in disbelief, so was PG-13. Paul George needed an entire group chat to confirm this wasn't some elaborate joke. Even Shaq, a guy who's seen every kind of NBA chaos imaginable, had to do a double take.
Well, obviously, Dallas didn't want to move forward with one of the greatest young players that we've seen today.
I wish the business of basketball could have been handled a little better. You would think a guy that 5 years in the league, 5 first-team All-NBAs would at least get the conversation like, hey, things are not going well. This could possibly happen. But, you know, he felt the same way I felt. When it went down, I actually had to look and make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day. So, I mean, I would like to have seen it done a little bit more respectfully. But this is what, and us three, we know this, you know this too. This is what we call the business of basketball.
Shaq's been around long enough to know this is the business. Carmelo Anthony has been in blockbuster trades. He's lived through franchise-altering moves, but even he had to admit, just a basketball move. It had layers. You know something is truly insane when Stephen A. Smith's first reaction is,
I just want your reaction, Stephen A., when you first heard this.
Oh, I was shocked. I was shocked because I couldn't believe that any franchise, it's the biggest shock that I've ever seen covering the NBA all of these years, guys. Luka's 25 years old. He averaged 34 last year. He's a career 28-point-per-game scorer, universally recognized as one of the top 5 players in the world. Not to mention, being from Slovenia, he has global appeal. He is an iconic international basketball brand, which explains on the Lakers side, that's an easy one. They got their succession plan in place. You've secured one of the biggest stars for the next decade. So this is what the Lakers do because their primary source of income is their basketball franchise, obviously. It's not one of them owners that got, this is a side gig. This is it. So this is what the Lakers do, and they always secure a big-time star. In the case of the Dallas Mavericks, to have that star in your possession and for him to be gone just left me with a raised eyebrow. You're hearing a lot of things about conditioning, lack of dedication, the fact that it became much of a headache for them. Very, very frustrating. He's scheduled to come back February 8th, Shannon, from his calf injury. And then they're telling folks, well, you know what? That's really not up to us. It's up to his team. And when you think about orchestrating a champion, just assembling a championship squad, they felt, despite his greatness, he was an impediment to that, as opposed to, being something that was a contributor to that. Again, there's one of the top 5 players on the planet, and you're shocked by that. So I looked at it from that standpoint, and I said, there's so much more to this that we don't know. There is so much more of this that speaks to their level of frustration and, dare I say, potential fury, no matter what they say, no matter what they try to deny.
And the craziest part, he's not the only one saying it. When KD got the news, his reaction was straight up shock.
Insane, it's crazy. I would have never thought Luka Doncic get traded at this age, mid-season. Yes, the NBA is a wild place, man. If he can get traded, then anybody's up, for grabs, So so the fans, by spectating is pretty fun. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking, probably for Luka and everybody in Dallas, LA, AD. So everybody involved, I'm sure, their heads are spinning right now.
And just as Ant-Man had said, if Luka isn't safe, no one is. And KD wasn't the only one that thought this trade was out of pocket.
I'm coming to you first because I just ran in the room like, what is going on right now?
When you came to us during break with this news, I couldn't believe it. I'm still somewhat thinking it's a hack. It's really hard to fathom the thought process from moving on from Luka Doncic. It really is. At this stage of his career.
At this point, NBA trades are starting to feel like pranks. And this isn't just trading an all-star. This isn't just a shakeup. This is a franchise-altering, history-rewriting, league-shattering move.
Driving, puts it up, instead it's a lob.
Jalen Rose didn't just think this was a big trade. He thought it was statue-worthy.
But if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, like Rob Pelinka might get a statue now. Like Jerry West got a statue as a player and as an exec. And I'm speaking hyperbole. To add Luka Doncic to your team, he's been all NBA first team 5 times. He led the Mavs to the finals last year, BC. Like, his numbers are on steroids. I can't believe they gave up a 25-year-old player, and ultimately because you didn't want to pay him. And I know, because I've been traded 150 times. What happens is they're gonna now put out stuff about you. Oh, his weight. Oh, his lifestyle. Oh, this is why we did it. But ultimately, Luka gonna get chips in LA, and he's gonna be an iconic figure, Vince Carter, because I can't believe they traded him at this point of his career.
He called it. The smear campaign always comes after the trade.
Saying fire management here. Locked On Mavs host Nick Angstadt.
He entrusting J. Kidd and I to lead this team, and he's putting the trust into us. And then obviously you got to get judged on the performance that you've done as a leader. And at some point, if it doesn't work out, then I'll be judged for that.
But the reality? The Lakers just set up their next dynasty. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Kyrie Irving is processing this in real time.
Trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with all this and put my best foot forward as one of the leaders of the team. You know, so this is a weird case in NBA history to be a part of, but at the same time, it's the nature of our business, and it is a ruthless business. So you just got to be ready to pick up the pieces and still run towards the championship. That's the ultimate goal on why I play, and having other guys that are championship winners too helps. But at the same time, we still have to acknowledge that our little Slovenian president is no longer here, and we got to adjust.
The Slovenian president just got impeached mid-season, and Kyrie is delivering the eulogy. For Jeff Teague, his reaction was pure confusion.
When I first read it, I didn't like it. I was like, why would they trade Luka Doncic, perennial superstar, all-star every year, for our agent, Anthony Davis, who we know has injury problems. He's been healthy the last couple of years, but for the most part, he's been injury-plagued his whole career. I'm like, I just don't like it. But when you read about it and see where they're going as a franchise, Dallas Mavericks, then it makes a little more sense. But I still don't like it, though.
Dallas fans, he's with you. Now, here we are. A 25-year-old MVP candidate gone. A franchise-altering trade sealed. And an entire fan base still in shambles. Luka Doncic, the face of the Mavericks, the player destined to have a statue in Dallas, is now wearing purple and gold. NBA legends, current players, and even one of the team's owners didn't see this coming. And now, everything has changed. What happens next? Will Luka dominate in LA and add to the Lakers' legacy? Will the Mavericks regret this trade forever? Or did they just pull off a genius move we haven't realized yet? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, we've never seen anything like this before.